Sup guys, it's Alex here, and welcome to the way too early 2019 NCAA Tournament Bracketology. Joe Lenardi just released his bracket as of April 4th, 2018. We have no clue who is going to be for sure going to the NBA draft, who might be returning. The Romeo Langford might be signing with Indiana, Kansas, or Vanderbilt. There's just a whole lot of stuff that we don't know about right now. A whole lot of unknowns based off of what's going to happen with the coming season. We might not even know what is going to happen with the FBI investigation. That's still going on. That's still a factor. But right now, Joe Lenardi based his new bracketology on the preseason rankings. I think Duke is going to be an overwhelming favorite as of right now. I think they're the favorite over at like the betting books over in Las Vegas and stuff like that. Kansas, Villanova, and Gonzaga are all the other 1 seeds. Then we got Virginia, who is the number 1 overall seed, but it lost to the number 16 seed UMBC for the first time in history. They are a 2 seed along with North Carolina, my Kentucky Wildcats, and Michigan State. Surprisingly, actually not surprisingly, we have Nevada as a 3 seed with the Martin Twins. They just went on a tear in the NCAA tournament, making it to the Sweet 16 before eventually losing to Loyola Chicago, who is projected to be an 11 seed there. We also have Oregon as a 5, Virginia Tech as a 4, which is pretty crazy, along with Kansas State over there as a 4, and Syracuse as a 5, which is pretty insane, along with Auburn and Tennessee staying as 3 seeds. But as you guys know, with every bracketology that I do, even with this one, I go to Brackify.com, make a bracket for you guys to go vote, stuff like that. The link for this will be in the description. All you gotta do is click that. There's now over like 12,000 brackets on Brackify.com, which there was only about 6,000 whenever I started doing it just this year. So I'd like to say that I started that trend. We have one of my brackets has 91,000 votes. I think that was this year's tournament video. Well, that's pretty insane, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my predictions. This will not be correct when you're watching this video a year from now, but we'll see what happens with it. We got Duke beating number 16 seed Hampton or Lehigh. I'm not going to say that's pretty obvious because that's what I said about Virginia and UMBC, but I'm just going to say I'm pretty confident Duke's going to win there. Then I got LSU with Will Wade. I think they beat Wichita State. The most people are picking Wichita State there. Then we got West Virginia beating Buffalo. And then we have Cincinnati beating Stephen F. Austin. Then we have Penn State, who just won the NIT. I think they'll beat Florida. Then we got Nevada beating Pennsylvania. And then we have number 7 Florida State beating number 10 Creighton. I think that Florida State's going to continue their run when they went to Elite 8, turning into some momentum for this coming year. Then we have Michigan State beating Vermont. Then we have Gonzaga beating Lipscomb. Then an 8 versus 9 seed here, we got Louisville and Chris Mack. They're going to beat number 9 Arkansas. Then we got UCLA beating New Mexico State. Don't know a whole lot about New Mexico State right now, but that might change depending on how their season goes. Then we got Kansas State beating South Dakota. Nobody's voted for South Dakota, kind of surprisingly. Then we have TCU and NC State and Marquette. I think that NC State will beat Marquette, and then they'll beat TCU. Then we got Tennessee beating Northern Kentucky. And we have Purdue beating Arizona State, though Purdue's kind of fallen off. They're going to be losing a lot of their seniors, and Carson Edwards might be going to the draft. Stuff like that. We'll see what happens. Then Virginia's going to beat UC Davis. And we have Kansas beating the winner of Wagner and Grambling. And we have Xavier beating Nebraska. I think Nebraska's on the up and up. They're going to make the tournament next year, but I think they got to wait till 2020 to get their first tournament win. Then Oregon will beat Davidson. I know this is a pretty big upset pick right here, but I got Oregon beating Davidson. Most people are picking Davidson. Then we got Virginia Tech beating Northeastern. Then everybody's favorite Cinderella, we got Loyola Chicago moving on past Butler. And then Michigan will beat Murray State to move on. Clemson will beat Maryland. Maryland, I don't think they'll make the tournament this year. We'll see what happens. And then Kentucky will beat Montana. Then we got Villanova beating Liberty. And then the 8 versus 9 right here, we have Houston and Boston College. I think Boston College pulls off the upset there. Then Syracuse will beat Marshall. I think that Western Kentucky is actually going to represent the Conference USA next year. And we got Texas Tech beating Louisiana Lafayette. Then we have Ohio State beating the winner of Miami, Florida, and Oklahoma State, which I think will be Oklahoma State. They're going to go with an upset here. I got UNC Greensboro beating Auburn. Then we got Mississippi State beating Seton Hall. And then North Carolina beating Iona. And for a spot in next year's Sweet 16, Duke will beat LSU. Then we have West Virginia. I think that they'll beat Cincinnati. Then I think Nevada will beat Penn State or Nevada. I don't know why I keep saying Nevada. It's Nevada. Then Michigan State will beat Florida State. Then we got Gonzaga beating Louisville, though I can see Louisville pulling off the victory there. And then we got Kansas State beating UCLA. I don't think UCLA is going to be a 5 next year. I'm thinking maybe like an 8 or 9. Then we got Tennessee beating the winner of NC State and Marquette. Virginia beating Purdue. And then we have Kansas beating Xavier. Xavier's not going to be doing too well next season. Then we have Virginia Tech beating Oregon, even though Oregon's going to have Bobo and Sharif O'Neal. Actually, no, I think Sharif O'Neal's going to UCLA. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's happening. Then we have Michigan. They're going to beat Loyola Chicago. I know a lot of people want to see this matchup here, a rematch of the Final Four, and they want to see the Cinderella story moving on. But I got to go with Michigan there. I got to keep it real. Then Kentucky's going to beat Clemson. Then we have Villanova beating Boston College, Syracuse beating Texas Tech. And then we have Ohio State beating UNC Greensboro. And then right here we have Mississippi State and North Carolina. We got North Carolina moving on. As much as I want to pick the upset there, we're going to keep that going. And we got Duke beating West Virginia. Then we have, I'm going to put Nevada beating Michigan State here. I'm putting Nevada in the Elite Eight. I don't really know who Michigan State's going to be having now that we got Miles Bridges and Jaren Jackson moving on and possibly Cassius Winston. We'll see what happens with that, who returns. And then we got Gonzaga beating Kansas State. And then Tennessee, I think, will beat Virginia. I don't think Virginia's going to be doing too well next season, but we'll see what happens. Kansas will beat Virginia Tech. And then we have Kentucky beating Michigan, a rematch of Charles Matthews there versus Kentucky, the team he transferred from. Then Villanova and Syracuse. As much as I want to pick Syracuse to pull off the upset there, I got to go with the dynasty that's going on. Then Ohio State and North Carolina. Bates Diop was Ohio State this season. He's leaving to the NBA draft. I got North Carolina moving on there. And then for a spot in the Final Four, Duke's going to beat Nevada. They're going to end Nevada's sort of Cinderella run, if you want to call it that. Then Gonzaga will lose to Tennessee. I got Tennessee moving on to the Final Four. Then Kentucky will beat Kansas. And then we have Villanova beating North Carolina, not Syracuse. So for a spot in the national championship game, Duke versus Tennessee, we got Duke moving on. Then Kentucky will beat Villanova. And then for a rematch from the Champions Classic back in November, Kentucky versus Duke. As much as I want to pick Kentucky, I got Duke moving on. I think they win it all. They're just going to be way too talented next year. They got the top 3 recruits in the nation. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. So there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Be sure to click the link in the description to go vote. Make sure you like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you are new. We're almost at 1,600 subscribers right now. And I will see you all later. Thanks for watching.